In this episode, I will tell you some tips on what to do if you are set on building a house in the Philippines, especially in the province. I know no matter how much I advise some people not to ever build or buy a house in the Philippines, some of you will still do it. So, for those of you, here are some tips. Number one, to always be at the build site every day. The amount of corners cut here is extremely concerning. Filipinos tend to be lazy, even the ones that are working on your house. So unless you are there to supervise, keep an eye out for them and on them and check on the job, they will definitely cut corners and you will see this at the end in the result. So never leave the site. It is very important that you let them know from the start that you care about quality. Make sure they wire your house with a ground wire. Almost all places in the Philippines just use a hot and neutral. Only newer condos use a ground. Make sure you're leasing the land under your name. Once it's built, you're probably going to want an electric generator for backup and Starlink internet. Communicating the care about quality is important. Another reason to be there all day, every day is that you will be robbed blind if you do not, and you will end up with substandard home. You need to have a working knowledge of all phases of home construction, or you will be robbed blind at the end with a substandard home. You need an amazing lawyer, or you will be robbed blind and end up with no home or land. You need next level people skills, or you will be robbed blind and end up with substandard home or possibly end up with no home or land. You need a decent accountant and understand that never trust your girlfriend or family no matter the resume or how honest they've been with you in the past. You can never lose your cool no matter how many times the general contractor and the subcontractors make the same mistakes over and over again. You need to be able to deal with being hated by everyone associated with the building process, including the neighbors. The amount of bureaucracy and corrupt local government officials you will have to deal with is absolutely mind-blowing. Basically, you work non-stop for months, spend way more time and money than you budgeted for, then end up with a home you will never really be happy with because the quality of materials and the workers in the Philippines will never meet your expectations. But I'm sure YouTube and Filipinos will tell you it's easy, cheap, and you will end up with Western standard home that costs pennies on the dollar compared to back home, and you'll welcome into the local community with open arms. These are some things you must keep in mind. Also, keep in mind that labor is cheap, materials are expensive. Don't contract with a contractor because they will add 20% margin on all materials. Better to buy direct yourself and to employ the labor direct cash in hand. Help if you have any savvy streetwise and business-minded spouse, which I'm sure most of you don't. Front things up and avoid the skin tax. You either need an architect or bystander. Basically, you're screwed in the Philippines if you want to build a house. Other people have also mentioned several of these things, and that's why I'm telling you it. From an Island says, I built a house on our province volcano island during the fake pandemic, as there was nothing better to do. We now have a beautiful house overlooking the Bohol Sea. It was a good experience, but lots of work and very difficult if you've never done it before, or if you're not strong and stern enough going on about building a house. These were some tips. I'm sure there are hundreds more. Have you built a house in the Philippines? Have you looked into it? What are the processes that you went through? It will be important to share this for those of you that want to build one in the future. I would highly recommend against this. Personally, no matter how comfortable I am in a relationship in the Philippines, I would never trust any person, any location, any government to actually build a house and invest money in that country. Is absolutely a big mistake you will never forget. For me, I would simply rent a home or a condominium. Rent. Do not pay more than 1 month deposit, and that's it. Worst case scenario, you get up, you leave, and that's it. no money lost, at least not significant amount, no heartache, no hardship, no time wasted, and you always have a way out. That should always be a plan for you if you've never been to the Philippines. Building a house is tricky. You have to deal with contractors, locals, neighbors, workers, government, corruption, money, cost of materials, poor materials, and all of this on top of not really knowing if the house truly belongs to you, because we all know you can never own the land underneath. Sure, you could lease it, but you have to be really committed to being in the Philippines before you start looking into legal matters and really doing your homework and understanding this culture. I don't understand how men come here, or sometimes even before coming here, they build a house, they pay for everything, every day, every week, every month. There is an additional cost. The wife or girlfriend that you have never even met before tells you they need $10,000, $20,000 more for something that you weren't expecting. Before you know it, they've drained you out of your money, and you come to this little shack with no electricity, no proper wiring, no water, no backup generator, and you just realize you made a very big mistake. This is all something you can look online. There are hundreds of YouTube videos regarding this matter. Some people like to sugarcoat it just to get some views. They want to tell you only the positive experiences and how it only cost them about $40,000, $50,000 to build a house. But that's only the raw materials that they are telling you about. They're not telling you how long it took, how many mistakes people made, and how unsatisfied they actually are with the overall outcome. Imagine having to put a fence around your whole house to ensure you keep the criminals out. And I'm not talking about a white picket fence. I'm talking one with barbed wire or something extremely sharp to make sure that your neighbors don't steal from you. That's some other thing you have to really consider. You have to know that you actually are happy with your neighborhood, of your barangay, the province. That's why I recommend spending months at a place before you decide to do anything, if you do decide to build a house, after all my warnings. Criminology makes a good point. He says, communicating the care about quality thing is important. My contractor told me that he had the revelation that I really care when he watched me spend a long time matching the perfect bathroom tiles, and the fact that I wasn't primarily motivated by sticker price. In every other house he worked on, the owner or the spouse was the one making constant compromises. Once the contractor and his crew feel proud in your house too, things go smoother. But yes, you will still have to be on site every day nevertheless. And money talks, just like anywhere else in the world. If a budget is not a problem for you, of course, you can build a mansion in the Philippines. The best comment from yesterday regarding finding the perfect province girl comes from Chosen One. You find a province girl, you will be taking care of the entire village. It's a hell of a trade-off. I wouldn't necessarily advocate dating a province girl. The worst comment is from Jeff Coleman, who feels like a big man, by saying, "You remind me of the woman in America that is bashing the passport bros. It's common sense that a 40-year age gap is money motivated. The same age linebacker ladies of the West are money motivated. Also, the most of the bad you describe are the Filipina. They learn from Western women. At least with the Filipina, you can have a lady you enjoy looking at. Get some therapy before hatred gives you a stroke or something. Just let it go. Look who sounds like a woman now." Thanks for watching. God bless.